What's going on, everybody? We're back for episode 3 on Reality After Show. Your hosts, Austin Foate and Lindsay, are back at it again. Holy crap, did we finally get some action, Lindsay? How are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. We finally got some meat and some substance. There's so much to dig into this episode.
My man. So I just want to throw this out there real quick. I got on Bar Rescue. I think I already told you, Lindsay, but it was kind of cool. I got to watch a bar basically get yelled at, ate some food. My parents didn't eat anything. And then, I got aired on a little bit. So I had my, little bit of fame there. I got on the camera. Like your mom, Lindsay, she got way more airtime than I could ever get. But
hey, get the airtime. Get the airtime.
So episode 3. So we pretty much headed right back into the game where nobody has amulet and everyone's kind of clicking back to their alliances. How are you? So I guess my first question is this: how are you portraying the alliances going into episode 3? Because and again, it's strong alliances of the bros with Catherine. I actually wrote them down because there's so much going on. I had Brian, Amanda, and Jordan. You have Alyssa kind of tagged in with Jordan. And then you have the Cody and Christine, making out sessions. Speak to me. What do you think of these alliances? You like the trios?
I think trios make a lot of sense for this sort of game when you have to be safe for somebody. You have 3 people in power. However, we have a very obvious trio with the bros and Pastor Jake, but just getting too far into it right now, just giving it away. We know that's our main power trio right there.
And that is a great point because the bros are literally the first target. Literally as we watch the episode, bros are already out there in the open. McLean's like, oh, I want to talk to Jack. And Derek's like, oh, I hate these bros. It's just right out the gate, we hear all this. And then you got players like McLean, who's trying to tag in with Jack. And then you got Frank, who's, kind of in the middle of the area. I kind of like how certain people are sitting around in the, how the game works with the chain. So Frank's going to be someone who sits in the middle, I feel like, or Alyssa is going to, it's going to be a Jordan and Alyssa type thing. Do you see as the episodes kind of go on, do you think people are just going to keep picking each other repetitively, or do you think there's going to be darts?
I think that because of how this episode ended, we might just going into a repetitive pattern. Alliances are forming. Yeah. They're holding strong. This might have been the episode to make a move, and we didn't see that if you wanted to flip the game.
Yeah, this would have been a really good move for, you know what, we'll talk the pre-challenge first, and then we'll get into that conversation, because I have a lot of opinions on what the hell just happened there. Yes. I mean, all right, so we basically start off with McLean basically bawling her eyes out, which I feel really bad for her, because she has been on the bottom. She's thinking Derek's going to pick her. She's thinking Jack's going to pick her. And then, Derek picks Jacob instead, which literally saved Jacob in the game. Kind of sucks to be in McLean's shoes. She really wants to win this snake going forward.
Agreed. She broke my heart. And McLean, if you're listening, my heart goes out to you when you're talking about being on the bottom twice. And it's how you don't have any family at home. And part of the reason I'm doing this is because my mom was on the show, and I have such a loving family. So I'm so sorry for you, girl, and you had a hell of an episode.
Yeah, McLean really, it's tough being on the bottom. I can only imagine, just always being picked last, because it goes right back to Snake, the first episodes, and then, she's just getting picked. The first time, was I didn't expect the first time. The second time I expected her to get picked, but, yeah, it's very, tough when you're just on that bottom and you're like, nobody really wants me here.
Yeah. That cannot be a good feeling, because you're away from anybody you know in your real life. You don't have your phone. You're bonding with these new people, and then feeling like this is a new social environment, a new social experience. I'm already at the bottom. That cannot be good for your mental health or you at all. So I'm very proud of McLean this episode.
That is actually a really good point. The whole game of the mental game, will her psychological, mind be impacted, basically, just always be on the bottom, and she constantly telling herself, shit, I'm not good enough, blah blah blah. But as we watch this episode, she really sticks it together. So McLean's definitely going to get a good edit here. I mean, we have to give it to Cody and Kristin. I mean, they make out on camera at least 7 times throughout the episode. I mean, we literally go to where Frank is talking with, I think it was like Brian, Alyssa. They're all like, oh, did you guys notice the makeout session tonight? I mean, like, these two are completely just out there with this.
They're going right for it. They're not thinking about any social strategy. Oh, people will notice us together. We might be a pair. Nah, we're just having fun. Cody and Kristin, what are you doing? I have questions.
I think this episode really like shows right at the start here who the players are that are not being like playing the game very well and who the players that are playing the game well. And we see like the Cody and Kristin are not really, socializing with everyone. Then you got Brian, who's like has a segment where he's literally only talking to Catherine the entire time. He's not really talking to anyone else. And Catherine's like, play it up to Brian because I'm like the only one he, has faith in.
Yes, say what you want about Catherine. I know I've seen negative things online, but Catherine, I love you. I can tell you are playing hard, and we can see it from the get-go.
I'm really excited to watch Catherine in this game because she's like the one that's really like, focused on winning, focused on her strategy. And I really appreciate that with players because like we're both Survivor fans and we both appreciate the type of player who's, got their head in the game. Whereas this is a brand new game. So like some people don't know what their, strategy is really yet, or some people are, trying new things. But, Catherine's like strict to her strategy and it's, what she came into the game with. And I know we make jokes about it, but I mean, she has strategies.
She does. Every time I made a confessional was strategy number 12 kind of popping in. I'm like, yes, Catherine, you're playing this game. You came prepared.
I do think Devontae's playing this game also just a little bit. We see a lot of very strategic moments when it comes to him and his confessionals. He's very like, yes, I'm with the bros, but he's also like, you should not be telling Jack, information like this. So I definitely am seeing there's, some players and there's some, loafers basically.
Agreed. I think we have some floaters. Like this whole episode gave me a little bit Big Brother meets old school challenge vibes when it comes to strategy with like floaters versus strategic players, what we're seeing. So a little bit of that is we're now starting to understand the game just like the players are. They're learning it in real time like we are.
Yeah, and I like the analogy with Big Brother too, because it is kind of like you just don't want to be at the bottom really, because in Big Brother if you're on the bottom constantly you're probably going to be on the chair constantly.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I'd have to go back and search other seasons if anybody's ever won by being in the chair constantly, but off the top of my head it seems like not what I would choose if I don't have to.
I think the only one, like, because I didn't watch too many seasons of Big Brother, like Taylor is the only one that kind of jumps out at me because I know that she was on the damn chair almost like every other episode, like every other, elimination. But I have no idea if there's ever been one that's just been constant.
Same. I've not seen much Big Brother. I've not seen Taylor's season, but proud of her for what she did as a winner in that show. And shout out Taylor Hale. You're great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then everyone's like crying this episode. I forgot about this too. Jacob's crying about the last episode, and he's like, throwing his heart out there to everyone. Like, why do you not trust me? Why do you blah, blah, blah? I'm like, Jacob, maybe if you weren't like just infatuated with everyone and like, connecting with, everyone, but not like strategizing with everyone, you'd probably get a little farther. Because like Frank tells him to his face, I forget word for word, but he's like, I don't trust you, dude, because I don't know what the hell you're going to do. I just know you.
Yeah. He said, I got ears, I got eyes, I got a brain, which one of the funniest things to start this episode. And they don't trust him. And then Alyssa is being nice to him. And then afterwards, she says he's kind of hard to be, someone you don't trust. So it's a thing.
It was actually a really nice moment. And I wish Kristin was here. Sorry, I forgot to mention Kristin is not here because she's sick at the moment. So we will see her next week. But one moment that I wished I watched with Kristin was when Jacob threw out there that what was her name? The first chick who went, the police girl. We'll just say police girl.
Kaylee, yeah.
Yes, when she like was roasting Alyssa about being an OnlyFans or something, and Jacob's like, she's a professional. She does, this professionally, and she's probably very good at it. And they were kind of going back and forth at it. I was like, okay, Jacob, you're actually like connecting with Alyssa. It could help you in the long run because now Alyssa's like, that's probably the first time in a while, someone's been like, yeah, that's professional. I do content because it's for my job.
Yes, agreed. Especially coming from a pastor when it comes to what she does for a living, like that had to just not just the validation, like someone supports her, just hearing that too. So I really like Jacob in that moment. So Pastor Jacob, I'm sorry for calling you Pastor Bitch last episode, but we'll get to you a little bit later. But in that moment, not a Pastor Bitch.
We get a lot of good moments actually from Melissa. We learned that she's like went to college. Is it chemistry, if I remember correctly?
She got chemical engineering. Girl, smart.
That's insane. Like, I was not the biggest like science engineering type minded person, and I give her kudos after hearing that because that's tough business, man.
That is so tough. When I went to college, I had to take a couple sciences just to graduate with my bachelor's and stuff going forward. And I want to say I took natural Native American science and meteorology as a lab to get past it. And the fact that she did chemical engineering as a major, kudos to her. Congratulations, girl.
Yeah, and like I was just a sports management guy who did journalism, so I was just out there doing college like at a slow speed. Alyssa's actually doing college. So.
Yeah. She is great. I want more content from her like this going forward. It was really good getting to know about her background a little bit more besides just I do OnlyFans, I do content. Let's talk about Alyssa.
And I think we will because we go into this challenge and we get to learn a good amount about some people being basically chickens. So they go into the challenge and they basically learn here that they're going to be in pairs of two, and that they're going to win the snake as a double-headed snake, so 2 amulets. And how this works is they're basically going to be shoved into like a little cage with each other, kind of laying side by side, and they have to spit out. One person has to spit out the puzzle to the other person, and they have to basically replicate it. And it's 16 tiles. The catch is that there's a few thousand cockroaches dumped on their heads. And I don't know about you, Lindsay, but that cracked me up when he said that, and half the cast was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, I don't blame them. My husband walked out of the room. I texted Mom, was like, thank goodness you left before this episode.
You can only imagine what your mom would have been doing on that one. I mean, she was kind of a baller when it came to the second challenge, but I think she puked after.
I think she could have done it. I don't think any of her children or her husband could have.
Right. Yeah. This was one of the challenges where I was looking at it and I'm like, I would not be like Cody, that's for sure, but I would probably be like Devontae, where he's like just focusing on the damn tiles because screw these cockroaches.
to get through it somehow. And poor Christine. Oh my gosh, I felt for the whole challenge.
They had some crazy clips actually of like these cockroaches going up Jacob's nose. I was like, that's a crazy angle they just put on TV.
Oh, it gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it.
So they get into the cages, and basically the pairs are, the first one's McLean and Jacob, which I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then you got Brett, Christine. You got Jack and Devontae, Catherine, Jordan, Frank and Brian, Amanda, Cody, and Derek and Alyssa. Now, some of these pairs, I was like, damn, like Derek and Alyssa could be good. Catherine and Jordan could be good. I actually thought Cody and Amanda were going to be good. And then everyone else, I was like, we'll see what happens. I don't know about you, but.
Yeah, I kind of thought Derek's pair was going to have it from the get-go. I thought they could handle it. Interesting how it worked out.
Yeah, because we basically start right away, and the first like 5 seconds is Amanda being like, "I'm so ready for this. I'm locked in," and then you got Cody like panicking, like screaming, and he just leaves. I was like, oh, that was quick.
I didn't see Cody being the first one to back out. I thought he would have gone a little bit longer.
Cody, I think he has like a very low temper if it gets to the point of like, screw this, because I swear to God, in the drinking comp, he like puked on the second go and then didn't even try the third time around. And then this one, he was like, screw this, I'm not even digging with this. Like, I definitely didn't see that coming. Like, what Amanda said was true. I couldn't believe that he's this big guy that wrestles freaking bulls and cockroaches got him.
I thought that was a very funny quote from Amanda and very accurate. You think he'd be able to handle it given his profession.
And then they basically showed Derek and Alyssa and Devontae and Jack making progress. Frank basically said hell to the hell no, and Brian and him have a quote where I think you told me earlier, I can't remember it specifically.
Yes, it is one of the funniest confessionals I think we've seen on this show. Brian goes, I'd rather go back to prison than do this again. And Frank says, yeah, I'll go with you. I was laughing. Like, that was great. TV gold.
Frank's literally like, I will go to jail before I do that ever again.
They'll be cellmates before they redo this challenge.
I mean, at least Brian has experience, so Frank would be fine in jail if ever needed. But
you have a buddy going in.
We basically start going through the challenge. I don't want to talk too much here because nobody else really leaves it, but we really see Kristin, like, she's foaming at the mouth, like, done with this damn challenge, which kudos to you, Kristin, because you wanted to quit. I seen it in your damn eyes like 800 times. You were like, I'm out of this. But you stayed in there and you fought. I was like, oh, she's dipping. I literally wrote it down that she was leaving, and she never left. I was like, okay.
Yeah, Kristin, my husband dipped the television. He dipped the living room before you dipped the challenge. So good for you, girl.
And we basically get right to the end, and it's a close race. There's only two teams that have one tile left. It's Jack and Devontae, and then you got Mac and Pastor Bitch, and they end up taking it over, Mac and Jacob. I guess it was just kind of funny how they were the first group picked, and we both knew that they were on the bottom, and they won.
Yes, I did not expect them to be the winners, but interesting how that turned out.
I mean, looking at it from our perspective, they literally just took the entire game and flipped it because they have been on the near bottom. Literally, Matt has been on the bottom the entire time, and now they have all the power.
Yeah, so the question would be, what are we going to do with this power and how we can use it to our advantage? And I think that's up to interpretation how that worked out for both players.
And it's also like funny how they kind of lean into it where, you know, the bros got to go, and then immediately Mac and Jacob are like, oh, we could rope in Jack. And I'm like, why would you rope in Jack?
I'm sure Kristin would be a fan because she's a Jack stan, but no, why?
Yeah, we literally get some talks right away. It's like Jacob and Mac are talking. You know, Jacob's very open. He is playing this game completely out there and open. He's like, I want Brent or Devontae gone. I'd prefer Brent. And then Mac's like, I want your boy Derek on. So they both like exchange. And then Jack talks with Mac, and then Mac's like, I don't want to pick you because you're going to pick your boys, but I do want you safe. And Jack's like, well, sounds like you guys are just going to be really open with me, so I'm going to take it and go. And then that's exactly what happens with Jacob and Jack. Jacob literally tells them, oh, I'm going to cut your boys, but we'll keep you.
Oh my gosh. And Jack is even laughing at him in the confessionals. He's like, why are you telling the enemy the strategy? And I have not been a Jack stan this whole season, but he's so right in this moment. Why is Pastor Jacob telling him that?
So I definitely don't need to go from line to line with what happened because I think we both agree that a lot of what happened in this episode was a lot of Jack talk and Devontae talk. And we literally... What was your impression of how the strategy was working from Jacob's point of view? Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, dude, why are you like giving Jack and Devontae power? You just let Jack talk his boy into your plan, and now you're telling him, hey, vote Derek, who Devontae, I don't even know if he's like aligned with.
Yeah, so you asked me what do I think the strategy is. I want to say to Pastor Jacob, what strategy? There's no strategy here. We're out in the open. They don't want to be part of your six. Like, you should have seen this coming.
Yeah, and Jacob literally is like, again, going into this episode, we're sitting here like, you're in like kind of alliance. You have Frank and you have Derek really on your side. Like, work with your guy. Like,
Right?
Derek literally says it at one point, like, why the hell am I like the 8th person to hear about this?
And if you're a partner, if you're a Pastor Jacob or a Pastor Bitch and you're working with Derek, he should not be hearing this as the 8th person. He should be one of the first person you go to. Let's say, hey, what do we think about this lineup? Can we make this work for us? Let's do this before we talk to other people. So Pastor Jacob, what strategy? That's my question. What strategy?
Yeah, it got very, I don't know, wishy-washy there. I'm like, what are you doing, Jacob? You need to stick to your group and kind of go forward with it, because Devontae definitely wants his boy around. I mean, the confessionals are hilarious because Devontae's not trying to say it, but he's like, I definitely don't want to go along with this plan.
Yeah. Him and Derek are like, no, not here. This is not the plan. And I did really like Jack and Devontae talking to each other. Then we see Pastor Jacob come over, and then Devontae like, oh, I didn't know this. I vote for Derek. Like, this is what I pick. I did kind of like that strategy from the bro trio. Not that I'm cheering for the bro chachos, but that did work well for them.
And I mean, Catherine's very smart about how she's playing this game, because she knows that these guys are like gonna soak up bullets for her, and I think she literally says that as a quote, like, I will stand behind these guys as they get shot at, which literally they're, the targets of this episode. So, Catherine, we had the moment of her trying to decide, do I, keep going with Brian, or do I keep going with, the bros? We find out obviously at the end of this episode, but I mean, I think she's, again, playing the middle pretty good at this point.
Agreed. I think she is rocking the middle, which is exactly where you want to play a game like this. So you have different options on either side. And I wonder what strategy number having meat shields is. I'll be curious. I hope she tells us at some point.
And then we have a moment with an actual moment with Kristin and Cody where they're like, Christine's like, hey, I have zero connection in this game. Like, I need to be 100% with you. We need to work together. And Cody's like, of course. Like, when I get picked, I'm picking you. So, I mean, it's probably the one and only social move or strategy move I've seen her do so far. But at least she's aware, I guess.
She's trying, I guess. She's doing something.
And then outside of all the madness, we basically just keep back to the point where Derek's pissed. So he tells Jacob that he's pissed, and then he goes back to McLean and is like, I talked to everyone, but Derek's not really on board. And McLean's like, I mean, should be.
Yeah, that could have been a better moment, but, well, we see what happens when it comes to the vote off and how everybody chose to go about this.
Just this part was, it was like, 20 minutes of just back and forth with the four of them, pretty much. So, I mean, it was a little boring, I'm not going to lie, because we knew it was the content we were going to keep getting constantly. Jack's going to keep constantly telling Devontae what's up, but Jacob's just going to, he's going to keep his straight face with Jacob. I mean, I just can't believe Jacob's not seeing this. He is 100% in that Jack and Devontae are not messing this up.
Yes, he does not see this coming. He thinks this is the plan. We're sticking to it. So that is going to be very interesting for him going forward. I really think he might have just put his foot in the grave for the next episode or two with this strategical decision.
And Amanda's sitting pretty because she's told she's getting picked first to start this. So
Yes.
she constantly is like, I mean, I'm just going to do what I was told.
I mean, I think Amanda is sitting really great in this game. I think she's not even like riding kind of the middle or lower like Frank is. She's really sitting high with everybody. She was picked first. I think she's going to be one to watch going forward.
I could see that because everyone always keeps going back to Amanda. Like, even the last episode where she was almost in that bottom, she was chosen. And, you know, the first episode, I'm pretty sure she was one of the first again. So she's constantly always getting talked to and, you know, picked.
She was. Mena picked her in the first episode because she said she felt comfortable with her and she's a lawyer and like her children are lawyers. Her dad is, or my dad, her husband is a lawyer, that sort of thing. So I think Amanda has that presence in the house where a lot of people connect with her and she can speak very well.
No, I agree. So we kind of get into right before they go into the, you know, ceremony, and they basically start dropping down some hints about, you know, how the players are feeling. Amanda recognizes that Devontae has all the power, which we're all aware of. I don't think Jacob is very aware of it. Brett is basically promising that Jacob's going to go home if he gets saved. And Kristine's like very afraid.
Yep, agreed. Kind of seems like I wonder if there was something going on behind the scenes that everybody but Pastor Jacob knew, because it seemed very much like we were shown from an audience perspective, like Devontae is going to flip. We're showing this right now. Seems like the cast knew. I just am wondering what Pastor Jacob was missing, that maybe he wasn't prepared for how this episode was going to end.
Yeah, like I think I threw in our group chat, like Brian was one of my prospects to go home here. I think I threw Brett in there just in case Devontae didn't flip. Who was my third? I think it was...
You said you did really good, not to spoil it. You said Brett, Cody, and Brian.
Yes. So, I mean, we basically head into this ceremony, and again, it's two people safe. So we've got Jacob and McLean basically are safe, and they start the chain, and it's correct so far about the whole episode. They've been talking about this goddamn chain to everyone, and they start off with Amanda.
Yes.
And then we hit Jack, and then we hit Devontae. And, you know, if you watched 30 minutes after the goddamn cockroach infestation, we heard it all goddamn day. It's going to be Derek next. It's going to be whoever the hell is next after him, blah, blah, blah. So Devontae's, you know, talking himself up. I'm going to pull out my poker move, whatever. And then he picks his boy, Brett.
Yeah, and we're like, of course you did. We knew it was coming. Like, why did they put Devontae in that position? Why did Pastor Jacob, Pastor Bitch, why did you tell them this was the plan? They're going to foil it for you, buddy.
This whole episode was it just went because Jacob ended up allowing Jack to get his boy into the plan. I mean, would Jack have done it anyway? Maybe. But, I mean, why did you even have either of them up there so far up?
Yeah. Jack will be really interesting if you win. It's interesting seeing you as a player, but you just give me the fuckboy vibes. And that's why no one should have trusted you. You were going to do, they should have told you that.
See, I like Jack. He's I feel like he's being picky with how he talks to certain people. Very strategic in how he's like, I'm going to be fuckboy with this person, but I'm going to be like bro with these two. And then I'm going to work with Jacob and then snake him.
Yes. So I do like that about him, that he's very strategic with it. Like, I do think he's young and it's very much his personality, but he's not just doing it to do it. He's talking to the people he needs to talk to. He's thinking ahead. He is planning what we're going to do with the snake. Like, he's using that persona, but also to way to advance his game. So I can appreciate that about him.
Now, I could come back to bite him. I mean, I'm in the thought that I think the bros tend to take a little bit of a hit this episode because I feel like more people are going to be leaning with Derek moving forward with like Jordan, Alyssa. Catherine probably won't. She'll probably stick with the bros. But I could definitely see like a division now after what Devontae just pulled, basically.
Yeah, we have a clear divide, so that makes me even more excited for episode 4. Probably the episode I'm most excited for because we actually have division in the house. We have a little bit of substance, why people feel this way. I want to see it play out and who's the next snake.
So, of course, our boy Brett picks Catherine. I mean, that was going to happen. And then she basically starts the train again. Not picking Brian, though. Let me not forget that, because Catherine is claiming here that she's the only one really saving Brian, that Brian is not a long-term goal for her. It's going to be Jordan who's the long-term factor for her.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. I wanted her to pick Brian, but I do think from a strategic standpoint, which Catherine has said from the beginning, that's how she's playing. Jordan was probably the better pick with how she's closer to other people in the house.
And the reason why I agree is because the way that this game works is everyone has to be aligned with people. Like, this isn't like Survivor where in that type of game, I could see Catherine keeping Brian around because Brian's 100% never going to vote, Catherine out of a game of Survivor. Yeah. But in this game, if he's not getting picked, like if she can't be far up where she is all the time to save his ass, they could go home, or she could go home. So, like, she had to choose her poison here where, like, oh, Jordan's more out here and social. Like, I have to keep, that card in.
Yeah, 100%. Like, realistically, who is more likely to be in a position of power to save her, Jordan or Brian? Much as we love Brian, it's Jordan. That's who she needs to save.
I love Brian. I was rooting for him hard this season. But he doesn't get picked. It's Jordan. And then she picks her girl, Alyssa. And then we basically have the last 5. And since this is a double, this is the last pick. And I'm not shocked. I wasn't shocked by this one, but Alyssa picks Frank.
Mm-hmm.
So then Frank's safe. And we have Christine, Cody, Derek, and Brian, which completely makes sense because of what Devontae did.
Devontae flipping up the game.
Basically put everyone back on the bottom that's been on the bottom-ish. And now both snakes get to choose, one each. So when you're sitting here, who are you thinking they're going to pick? Like, what's going through your mind?
The first thing through my mind was, I'm so sorry, Brian, but bye. Like, I knew he was going. I thought Cody maybe had a chance, but I was not too surprised. Like, it made sense. Christine must have gotten to talk to a couple more people and infiltrated a little bit better. So not too shocked when we learned it was 2. I did call it double elimination when they said double snakes, and I just had a bad feeling in my gut that poor Brian was going.
Yeah, I had no idea who McLean was going to pick. I'm not going to lie. I literally didn't guess. I was like, it's not going to happen. But I 100% was guessing that Jacob was picking Derek.
Yes.
And obviously, Jacob saves Derek here. But, I mean, Derek calls out Devontae. I guess he just calls out whoever's the other snakes up there, which are the bros. But he basically calls out Devontae and is like, you're dead meat.
I hope that's true. I want to see Derek go on like a revenge run. Let's see this, Derek.
I'm kind of down for some feistiness. I mean, we are getting to the point where, a big flip just happened, and now, someone who was told the plan just got screwed over and almost effed out of the game by the plan. So, I mean, I get it. I feel for you, Derek.
Yeah. So can I replace Brian as my winner pick with Derek, or is it too late in the season to do that? I don't know.
You got to root for somebody, right?
I said Catherine and Brian since Mom is out. So I think we're going to switchy Brian and Derek now. Let's go, Derek. Revenge tour right here. This is your revenge era. Let's go.
That's fair. So we end up Macklin picks Christine, which I totally get, because I had no idea who Macklin was close with out of those 3. So that's a good way to build trust with somebody. So, I mean, I think that was the best pick, actually.
I agree, especially because Cody's out of the game. So Christine is going to be looking for allies, anyone that she can partner with. So that was a really good move. If what we've been shown as her number one is now out, now McLean, like now she's your number one. You have that.
Yeah, and you pretty much were in that position where you're like, I'm splitting these two up. Why send both of them home when I can keep one? And now she's probably 100% loyal to me because she really didn't have anyone to begin with.
Right.
So, no, I completely agree with her pick. I didn't know who it was going to be.
Yeah, I know I did not think that's who she was going to choose. I was kind of on the fence, but I definitely thought Brian was going home. But I think strategically, a beautiful move for her from McLean to get that ally right there, send Cody home, get a new person that has nobody. There's number one right there. If she is in front of you.
Well, she really needs to because she's pretty much screwed again. Her plan didn't work at all. She wanted she wanted Derek gone, and Jacob wanted one of the bros gone, and none of it happened. So we've seen the amulet didn't get used, like it didn't work out at all for them.
Mm-mm.
They're pretty much didn't get rid of anyone they needed to. So they're again probably going to be near the bottom if any of the power like five, like one of the bros, Catherine or Jordan, they're probably near the bottom again.
Yeah. Next week is the week we need to see the people on the bottom coming together, forming an alliance. Will we see that? I'm not sure. The bros look like they're running the show as of right now, but I would love to see it.
I think Derek is going to be the guy that has to do it. I think he's going to be kind of like the initiator because he has nothing to lose. He's working with arguably both of those, the snakes for this episode. So, well, now he's working with Macklin. Macklin didn't want to work with him, but she's probably going to be forced to next episode. And I could see it like, I mean, let's talk about the preview, I guess. We see Catherine screaming, running out of who God knows where, and Devontae's all pissed off. My impression was Derek started some shit, and Devontae was about to go give him a piece of his mind.
That's what it looked like. It's hard to tell from just a couple of seconds, but Devontae just looked like he was about to do something. So we will see you next episode.
Yeah, that was a good, there was a lot of people pissed off in that preview. So I'm pretty excited to see the aftermath from this because I'm assuming it's just going to go right into it and they're all going to be like, what the fuck? And then you're going to have people like Amanda and Frank who are just like, hey, let's all be friends here. Just remember me.
Agreed. But what's different between Amanda and Frank, because I think you're right, they're both going to say, let's be friends. Amanda's at the top, Frank is at the bottom. So Frank maybe needs to think about where his position is in the game going forward. But Amanda, she's kind of sitting pretty.
Yeah, and Frank was close with Cody. So, that, his plan A kind of is out the door now. His secret alliance that he was having.
Secret alliance. And then keep going with the next episode or like the preview. I think we both have similar views on what happens next.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm just looking at the cast right now. I don't really fear for Alyssa or Jordan. I think they're going to be fine. Jack's definitely going to be fine. I mean, Brett got his ass saved because he was going home if the plan didn't go so stupid. I mean, I'm actually interested to see how Christine and Macklin could change the game because they're going to be catalysts to Jacob and Derek if, Derek can get some power.
We've seen a game of trios and a couple other people added on. If the four of them could be two duos working together, that could actually flip the game. And I hope we see that.
Yeah, and I'm ready to see that because, I mean, I was ready for someone that we've been seeing at the top to go home. And, I mean, we literally just seen – I mean, Brian technically was because he's been picked pretty early, but it was always Catherine, and she kind of just said bye. But Cody was just another bottom guy that just got cut out. So, I mean, we really didn't see any big names hit the road.
All right. So for next episode, are there any names that you say this is your number one person to watch or the number one person you're worried for?
That's a good question. I think number one person to watch is going to be Derek. And that's because I think Derek has to pull moves this next episode. He caused way too much tension at that ceremony to just sit back and watch things happen, because he's gonna go home if that happens, especially if like 75% of these people get a hold of the amulet.
Yeah, agreed.
Person I think is in. What was the other question? Who's in the best seat?
Yeah, who would you be worried for? Like
Worried for. I'm gonna say I'm still with Jacob. I think he's screwed altogether. Like I said, I think he really needs to work with Derek to figure something out, and then let Derek do it this time, not Jacob go and do his own plan and fuck the entire thing up.
Okay, I agree with you on both those points. So you said number one person to watch, number one person you're worried for. You mentioned best seat. Who do you think is in the best seat?
Best seat right now. God, that's such a tough one. I think it's Catherine right now.
Okay.
I think I said that last episode too. I don't know why I just keep seeing Catherine as like the power position, but like we always keep seeing the edits of like Catherine's my number one, or like Catherine, I can keep her around. Like she's in a trio and then she's good with everyone, it seems like. I don't see the downfall yet, at least.
Yeah, I think those are all three really good choices. I don't really think I can disagree with you on any of those three players, although I would like to see one of the bros like Brett, Jack, Devontae, and person to worry about, but I don't think we're there yet. We'll see how next episode goes.
Yeah, because I mean the bros could end up being like the alliance of the season, but they're such a they're already seen so big now. I just see it kind of collapsing. I could see one of the three making it far, and it's probably gonna be like Jack or Devontae, but who knows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we're getting close to the point that if I were Jack or Devontae and you see like a smaller alliance starting to form, people from the bottom, maybe just give them a gimme. And maybe this episode wasn't the right one for Brett, but maybe the next one is like appease them a little bit to get their favor.
Yeah, I like that. Use them to kind of keep moving up, because I think they're realizing Brett's kind of the outlier of the three, like in game terms.
Agreed.
But I think that's all we got for this episode. Yeah. Who was your like? Did you just agree with them all, or like your top?
Okay. So I think I agree with you. I want Derek to be the one to watch. Like 1000% agree with you on that one for Derek.
Gotcha.
I wanted to see me watch. I go back and forth with Pastor Jacob because one that I'm worried about, because at what point can you use him as a number, right? When can someone draw him in? I do think he's in the worst position, but I would maybe try to use him to always say by name if I save him the next time. But I also don't have somebody to put in his position. McLean's been at the bottom multiple times, so she's an easy one to throw in. So that one's hard to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also agree with you that I think Catherine's in the best position.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear cut with some contestants right now. But I think the next episode is going to be really interesting. We're going to see some fireworks.
100%.
So, I mean, we'll leave you all with that. We had a great episode 3. I'd probably rank this one my favorite episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. We'll do that.
Good.
So thank you, everybody. Check me out, Foate the Goat. We got more podcasts here on Reality After Show, and you'll be seeing both of us next time.
Bye, everybody.